daily loss limit and maximum loss limit. Two things that either soft breach or hard breach your funded account. My name is KV and I'm going to walk you through exactly how these loss limits work in real time. So let's get to it. First, we're going to talk about the daily loss limit, also called the daily drawdown. And before we actually get into how this works, I want you to know that most prop firms have what's called a soft breach, right? So if you hit this daily loss limit, your trading will be paused for the rest of the day, right? So you will not lose your funded account, but you will not be able to trade until the next day opens, which in futures, it is 6 p.m. New York time, right? So you don't have to wait until the real next day after midnight. You just have to wait until the next trading session opens. So again, you can resume trading, you can continue trading the next day as long as your account hasn't exceeded the maximum trailing drawdown, which is the next part of this video, okay? Now, next thing you want to look at is what is that daily loss limit based on, right? Is it a specific dollar amount? Is it based on its percentage or something else, right? Personally, I'm going to be using Top One Futures, and they do have a 2.5% daily loss limit no matter what account size you have, okay? So this is how it looks. For a $25,000 account, the daily loss limit is going to be $625. The $50,000 account will be $1,250. The $100,000 account will be $2,500, and lastly, for the $150,000 account, it will be $3,750. Okay, now I know there's a lot of numbers, so let's actually give you a graph so you see exactly how this would work on your own account. Okay, so here we have it. We are going to go through a $150,000 account example where the daily loss limit is going to be $3,750. Now your account balance is going to be this blue line, and then the daily loss limit or the daily drawdown is going to be the red line. So the first day you start with $150,000 account balance, right? That's where you start. And then $3,750 lower is going to be that daily loss limit for that specific day, right? So on that specific day, you cannot lose more than $3,750. What does that mean? So if we're talking about the P&L, right? Profit and loss for that day, it cannot go below $3,750, okay? Talking about unrealized or realized, right? As soon as you hit $3,750, it will lock you out for the day. Now, we get a lot of questions. What if we are positive $5,000 on the day, right? And then from this, we lose $3,750. And then the account is still as the positive balance of $1,250. Will I get locked out at that point? No, right? So you are still eligible to trade because again, your total P&L needs to be negative $3,750, okay? It does not matter what the high watermark of that day was. Your net P&L needs to read $3,750 for you to be locked out of that day. Now, as you can see here at the bottom, it says the drawdown is based on your account balance at the end of the day, ensuring consistency and transparency, right? So this $3,750 is based off of your starting balance at the beginning of the day, right? So first day is based out of the 150 grand, right? 3,750 below that, you'll be stopped out for the day. And then as you make more money, right, as this goes up, the daily loss as well goes up, right? So if you make $1,000 the next day, if your balance is at $151,000, it's going to be 3,750 negative that balance, okay? If you make money, goes up with you. If you lose money, then obviously this will come down as well, right? If you are back to 150 grand, it will be 3,750 from that 150 grand. And this will always keep on trailing up and down just by looking at the closing balance from the previous day. Again, the daily loss limit will be a soft breach for most prop firms out there. Some prop firms don't even have it at all, but some prop firms do have it, and it will be a soft breach, meaning that it will stop you trading anymore for that trading session until the next day. Again, it will only stop you out if your total P&L reads 3,750 in this scenario, okay? Now, we just saw how the daily loss limit or the daily drawdown work, which is important. Obviously, it is soft breach. But what's more important is the maximum drawdown, which every prop firm in the industry has that, okay? No matter what prop firm you're using, right? As I said, daily loss limits, some companies have them, some do not. The maximum drawdown, every company will have such a thing. So let's get to it because this will be what actually breaches your account. Most prop firms, this will be the only rule that actually fails to challenge or eliminates your funded account. Okay, so let's talk about the maximum drawdown, the maximum loss limit. As we said, it is a hard breach, right? So if your account falls below the trailing drawdown level, your account will be considered breached and the trading will stop. Now, if you are in the challenge, the trading stops and will only resume if you get rebuilt on that account, right? So if you wait for your rebuilding date, the account will be reset and you are good to go again. Now, if this hard breach happens on a funded account, unfortunately, that account will be closed and you'll have to take another challenge or open another straight to funded account. Now, there's two things that you need to know about the maximum drawdown, right? So whenever you are researching with the prop firm and understanding what the rules are, the first thing, obviously, just like the daily loss limit, you want to understand what is that limit at. So for Top One Futures, which is the prop firm that I'm trading with, the instant funded accounts, they have a $1,000 drawdown on the $25,000 account, $2,000 on the $50,000 account, $4,000 on the $100,000 account, and $6,000 on the $150,000 account. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to understand, right? Make sure you are getting that number. How much is that maximum drawdown? And then the second thing that you want to understand, which was not the case with the daily loss limit, is this maximum drawdown going to be end of day or intraday? Okay, prop firms use intraday, and then there are other prop firms that use end of day. Okay, end of day only looks at the maximum drawdown after the closing balance, right after the day has ended, while intraday moves within the profits that you make during the day. I will show you guys two examples on how these works. Personally, I do prefer end of day because it will not affect you mid-trade, but I'm going to show you how it works and you will be the judge of that. Now, before I show you guys those two different examples, I just want to give you a quick graph here, just an overview, like a high level of how the maximum loss limit works. Okay, so again, blue line is going to be your account balance, and then red line is going to be your maximum loss limit. Okay, so on the $150,000 account, you start with $150,000 balance, and you have a $6,000 drawdown, meaning that drawdown is going to be stuck at $144,000 for that first day. As you make money up, this will trail up with you the same amount of money that you do make, right? If you make it $2,000 profit, it will come up $2,000. If you make more profits, it will trail up with you. But different from the daily loss limit, if you lose money, as you can see, this is not coming down. This is staying at the same price. Okay, so the maximum loss limit only keeps on trailing up. It never trails down. Okay, so the more profits you make, the more it goes up. If you lose money, it does not move. As in this scenario, it did not move. And as you make more money, it keeps on going up with you. And as you make more money, now it goes up, but it gets locked. Okay, so this is the third thing that you need to know for the maximum loss limit when you are doing your research. Where does the maximum loss limit lock? Okay, now there will be prop firms which they lock it at your starting balance. So $150,000, and there are other prop firms that may lock it at a few dollars up, right? So in Top One Futures, they lock it at $100 over your initial balance, okay? And it gets stuck right there. So no matter what happens, if you lose money, make money, it does not trail up or down after that point, okay? So as you can see, this red line on the maximum drawdown is the line that actually breaches your account. As long as you're not hitting this line, you will always have that account active. So let's jump into those examples so you can see exactly the difference between end of day maximum loss limit and an intraday maximum loss limit. So the first example here is going to be a maximum loss limit intraday. So we have 3 days here. This is your first day, second day, and then obviously the start of the third day here. So on the first day, you're starting with $150,000. You have that $6,000 drawdown. Let's say you make $5,000 here on your first trade. Again, these are trades. One trade, make $5K. Your maximum loss limit moves $5K right away. It does not wait for the next day, right? So as soon as you make that $5K, it's already moved up with you. Let's say on the next trade, you lose $3K here, right? Negative $3K. This did not move, so it's still there. Okay, and let's say you make like $500 there. It does not move either, because it's based from the highest threshold, right? So from the highest point of the day. And let's say the day just closed there. Now you're into your second day. The maximum loss limit still has not moved here. So it's just stuck at around $149,000. And let's say you just lose the rest there and your account is gone. Now, moving on from the next day, it will be the same as an end of day. But as you can see, this is where the real trouble is for an intraday maximum loss limit. Okay, so as soon as you're making profits, it's already climbing. It's already, behind you. And that tends to create a lot of bad habits on traders. Check out how the end of day works and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so now on this second chart here at the bottom, it's a maximum loss limit, but end of day. Now, let's say your first trade, you make the same thing, you made $5,000. The maximum loss limit does not move, okay? It does not move with that trade. Let's say you lose money on the next trade, it does not move either. It only moves once your closing balance has moved from your initial balance at the beginning of the day, right? So whatever the difference is from your closing balance to the initial balance, that's the only point it will move, and it will be for the next day, right? So it does not affect you on that single day. And let's say the first trade next day you make about $4,000. Again, it will not move. It does not move until the day closes. So the maximum loss limit end of day only looks at the balance after the close, and then it says, hey, great, now we have moved the maximum loss limit. This is what it will be for the next day. I hope this video made it super simple to you how the daily loss limit works and how the maximum loss limit works. For a daily loss limit, there's not really choices that you can pick. Either a company has one or it doesn't have one. For a maximum drawdown, you can either choose a company that has an end of the day maximum loss limit or someone that has an intraday maximum loss limit. The choice is yours. As always, if you do like this type of information, make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe button.